I just can't let you go.
Fair use disclaimer, clips from this video are used for commentary, criticism, and educational purposes under fair use, because when Baylee Stewart starts pitching $500 a month as a life-changing win, someone's got to show up with the FTC and the kazoo. Ever had one of those days where your calendar is so full, you feel like you need a second calendar just to manage the stress of the first one? Now imagine someone looks at that chaos and says, actually, you're doing it wrong. You could be running a business in those 15-minute breaks between breakfast and carpool.
You want to carpool with us?
Enter Baylee Stewart, make wellness leader, time-blocking queen, and believer that grit is the missing ingredient in your life if you're not yet earning $500 a month in MLM commissions. Not $5,000, not a full income, just $500, and a whole lot of daily method of operation. Disclaimer. Hey squirrels, neurokin, lurkers, and even the Huns. I'm DC, your autistic MLM dropout, and today we're reacting to a training video from Baylee Stewart, a top leader in Make Wellness, who's sharing her framework for hitting premier rank. Because when a business model relies on intense personal scheduling and productive socializing just to hit $500 a month, it's not about freedom, it's about compliance disguised as hustle. Real quick, let's talk about what's legally not okay in this. According to Section 5 of the FTC Act, it's illegal to use deceptive acts or practices in commerce. That includes misleading people about potential income, omitting material info that could affect their decision, or using manipulation to push someone into buying or joining something. So anytime you hear a rep say something like, lock in $500 a month easily without showing real data, that's a FTC violation risk.
Danger, 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 and danger.
You don't have to be a lawyer to spot it. You just have to ask, would a regular person hear this and be misled into buying or joining? If yes, then that's a problem. Like last time, we have the grayed out sections of the video to help you have a visual marker of the things I'll be addressing. There's a lot of fluffery outside of the black and white clip, so if you see something that you really want to spot, let me know in the comments and let's have a convo.
Hello, Make Wellness. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I'm super excited to be here with you guys and do a mini training for this push to premiere. I'm super excited. So put in the comments where you guys are tuning in from. Put in the comments if you are watching live or if you are catching your girl on the replay, okay? So I really am excited to talk about time blocking and DMO for hitting premiere.
She said, I really am excited to talk about time blocking and DMO for hitting premiere. A calendar and a checklist, two of MLM's favorite accessories.
How are her accessories?
I'm guessing the next slide says, hustle harder.
Okay, now I know that a lot of people probably are like, girl, this is not that confusing, this is not that hard, but I promise you this is the one thing that I feel like I have mastered and that has really helped move the needle, not only in my overall business, but specifically in getting to that premier rank and beyond. And my team is probably rolling their eyes so hard at me right now that I'm talking about this, because if you guys know me, you know that I am like the time blocking queen, okay? Something I hear a lot when I coach people and mentor people, and when they first come into the business, it's like, okay, I'm fired up. You guys have the systems. I'm like ready to roll, ready to rock. But what do I actually do? Like when I sit down to work my business, what does that mean to work my business? Okay. So I'm going to tell you, and this framework, you guys, is something that you can use no matter how much time you have to put into your business. We're all busy. We all have a million different things going on. But if we can get this down and we can really solidify our DMO and our time blocking habits, it's going to help make it feel like almost like we have more time than we actually do, okay? So if you guys are ready, put in the comments, drop some fire emojis if you guys are ready to dive into how to hit premiere in as little as 60 to 90 minutes a day, okay? So first and foremost, why premiere? This is such an important pinnacle rank, you guys. This is the foundation of our business. It's something that we can build off of. It's our core rank here at Make Wellness. And it's also how we're gonna get and lock in that first $500 a month. And you guys, this is something that is so unheard of. There are people who go years and years and years in this industry without ever even earning $100 to $200. So the fact that Make Wellness has set it up for it to be so simple for us to lock in $500 a month.
You know, every time. She said, this is something that is so unheard of, to lock in $500 a month. I mean, it's not verbatim, but that's essentially what she said. Logical fallacy, exigency. What is the exigency fallacy? Claiming something must be done immediately because of an urgent need, even if that urgency is fake. For example, act now. This once-in-a-lifetime MLM opportunity is disappearing before your eyes. Number one, it's an exigency logical fallacy. There's an FTC violation risk.
You keep saying that word, danger, danger.
Acting like $500 a month is a unicorn of success is classic scarcity bait. Babe, that's not unheard of, it's unlivable. On the FTC side, this suggests guaranteed or typical earnings without a disclaimer. Highly misleading. I'd say, Baylee, don't you do it, but you already went and did it.
Don't you do it, Billy.
Is absolutely incredible. So that's another reason why we want to push for Premier, okay? So starting with the DMO and the breakdown, when you guys are building this business, you want to focus on two main things. And I'm like 99% sure that Justin Prince taught this. So take notes because this stuff is gold, okay? So when you're building this...
I'm sorry, I just have to say it. We're going to take notes, but this training was recorded. So why do I have to take notes if I can just go back and watch the training, Baylee?
I would love to take notes on all of this.
Can someone explain that to me? If you're an MLM, can you just explain why everyone's telling me to take notes when it's recorded?
Business focus on two things, your DMO, okay? The first thing is going to be income producing activities, your IPAs, okay? These are things that are going to move the needle. And then the second thing are your IAs, which is highest impact activities, okay? So the things that you're really good at. We want to focus majority of our time on those two things. What's going to move the needle and what are we really, really good at? Because what can we create the most impact with?
Baylee? She said, what can we create the most impact with? I think cult tactic, thought control, if you look at the BITE model, behavioral control, information control, thought control, emotional control. There's a lot of great resources if you just Google it.
When you get home tonight, Google it.
Yeah. When impact is code for sales and signups, you're not building impact, you're just building pipelines, in my opinion.
Very much so, in my opinion.
Right? That's ultimately what we're all here for. And there's 5 different things that I want you guys to make sure are in your DMO every single day, no questions asked, okay? And again, it doesn't matter how much time you have for each of these things, but what matters is that you just make sure that part of them are done every single day, okay?
Oh, I'm sick.
And it moved my notes. So number 1, attract, okay? Attract people to you. We are in the world of attraction marketing. This is super important for us to know, and it's super important for us to do it every single day. Attraction marketing is what I kind of call like a soft selling, okay? And what that means is you're doing content that is empowering, it's inspiring, it makes people want to follow you, but it's not necessarily, hi, join my team, or hi, try my products, right? Something I really like to do, if you guys follow me, you know I do this almost every day, probably not almost every day, but like 3 times a week. And I like to go and do these little dancing videos in my kitchen, making my products. I don't always talk about what I'm mixing up in my cup, but I'm always on there with my fit, just hanging, maybe my Energized. There's a product placement somewhere in there, and it's not done on accident.
It's not done on accident.
You did that on purpose.
She said, I do these dancing videos in my kitchen, making my products. Product placement is not done on accident. I don't know. Deceptive marketing category.
Because I watched this movie called Liar, Liar, and the message was don't lie.
FTC violation risk, in my opinion. So it's not dancing, it's strategic curiosity bait. Welcome to Soft Sell Theater, sponsored by FOMO and Fruit Powder. The FTC risk here is curiosity bait without disclosure counts as misleading omission. Baylee? Make wellness? Hello? Why don't you take note of that?
You should take note of that.
Okay, that's what a soft sell is. Something that kind of gets people's curiosity piqued essentially, but it's not you saying, hi, I have this thing for you and here's how you can get it, okay? So that's the first thing, attract. And this can be in conversations, this can be in person, this can be online, however you wanna run your business. Just make sure that you are attracting people, you are piquing their curiosity. The second thing is connection, okay? Just getting into conversation with people. And don't get it twisted, this does not have to be every single day you're texting people, asking them to try your products or inviting them to the business opportunity. It doesn't always have to be that way, but just getting in connection with people regardless, okay? Like, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? I saw Brody's birthday was last week. It looked so fun. You did such a good job. Like, just fully having conversations with people. It doesn't matter what it's about, okay? Something that I really like to do, and I really want to encourage you guys to remember this first before I go into that. I want to encourage you guys to remember this. On social media, it's fully just a lead generation, right? That is what social media is for. Obviously, it's also to provide value and all of that stuff, but when we're talking business and when we're talking purpose, okay, it is a lead generation tool. So I want to encourage you guys to remember that every single like, every single comment, every single story viewer, even the people in the background who aren't outwardly engaging and commenting and stuff like that, the likers, the viewers, all of those people, that is a virtual hand raise that they are interested in what you're doing.
Lies,
okay?
lies.
But they have the choice. We're all adults here. They have the choice to not consume your content. Right? And if they're watching, if they're liking, that is a virtual hand raise that they are in some way, some shape, some form interested in what we have our hands on, okay? Or at least in what you're talking about.
I can't start every single critique with Baylee, but I feel very strongly about doing that again. I feel offended because I've been in marketing since 2010. I've worked as a graphic designer. I've worked as a creative director. Tricking people is awful. Baylee said if they're watching, if they're liking, it's a virtual hand raise that they are interested in what we have.
You sneaky little biatch.
We have a logical fallacy of leap of faith, potentially bandwagon. What is the leap of faith fallacy? Believing something is true without any real evidence, just based on a gut feeling. For example, I just feel this MLM will change my life, so it must be true. What is the bandwagon fallacy, or appeal to popularity? Arguing that something is right simply because many people are doing it. For example, millions have joined this program, so it can't be that bad. We have cult tactic behavioral control of the bite model, and there's a potential FTC violation risk swirling about with everything else. You're telling me a passive like is now implied consent to get pitched? Hip personal boundaries.
In the words of Mariah, we don't know her.
FTC risk is interpreting passive digital interaction as intent is a deceptive assumption. I think we all knew that, but someone had to say it.
Okay, or at least in what you're talking about, right? So something I really encourage my team to do is reach out to the people who like your content.
Oh,
and
God.
What I like to say, I have a script that I use for everyone, and I just say, hey, thanks so much for all the love on my post recently. Believe it or not, it really helps my business. The type of business I do, all the engagement matters, and I appreciate you so much. If this was just a way for you to support and encourage me, I absolutely, I love you anyway.
Ma'am, if this was just a way for you to support and encourage me, I absolutely love you anyway.
Will you just leave me alone?
This moment feels kind, but it's packaged inside a pitch. Real support doesn't come with strings or scripts. Sorry, my eye's probably going to continue rolling throughout this entire video.
First, you close your eyelids, then roll your eyes up so that the eye roll is private.
The off chance you are interested in what I've been talking about recently, I'd love to have a conversation about this with you. It's changing lives. I'm obsessed with it, whatever. I end with something that is going to basically ask them a question and get them to respond to me. And from there, a lot of people just say, hey girl, it was a way to support you, love your content, moving on. And we get in a conversation about something else. And then sometimes people are actually interested and they're like, actually, you know what? I have been watching you and I am interested. So get in conversation, connect with people, reply to all of your DMs, reply to all of your comments, reply to your text messages. That stuff is really important. And believe it or not, it is something that is going to be moving the needle forward in your business. The next thing I want to touch on for your DMO is follow-up. You guys have probably heard this until all of us leaders are blue in the face, but the fortune is in the follow-up, and it is literally going.
Baylee, the fortune's in the follow-up. Okay. Repetition fallacy, we're not here for it. What is the repetition fallacy? Repeating the same claim over and over, hoping that sheer repetition makes it true. For example, a scammer keeps shouting, "This is the opportunity of a lifetime," until you're overwhelmed by the noise. If I had $1 every time I heard that phrase, I might finally make $500 a month in multi-level marketing.
And it is literally going to be what moves the needle, I would argue, most in your business, okay? Because here's the thing. We cannot expect people to hear the information that we give them one time and to like sprint and go run and buy it right away, right? On average, it takes 5 to 7 touches for someone to actually decide to purchase. And on top of that, we've got busy people. We have moms, we have dads. Like, tell me how long, you guys, your Amazon cart has been sitting stagnant, just chilling, waiting for you to buy everything. If you're anything like me, also, you have like millions of dollars in your Amazon cart and you just have to go in and like select which ones you're buying each time because you can't buy the whole thing at once. Like, it takes me forever. I literally just yesterday purchased a skin serum that I've been meaning to purchase for.
This is not meaningful, but I can't stop. Oh, you can't see it. I'll move myself to the other side. I cannot stop staring at this candle. I'm glad y'all can't see it. It doesn't matter that it's crooked. No. Does it matter to me? Yes. Is it meaningful? Does it make her MLM more or less ethical? No. It's just crooked and I can't stop looking at it. Also, I hope those lamps are at the same height because they don't look like they're at the same height, but that's okay. Not my house, not my problem.
Literally 8 months. So 9 times out of 10, people are not ghosting us. They do not ignore us.
They are ghosting you.
They are busy.
I believe the kids call that ghosting.
Busy. And it's our due diligence to make sure that we are following up and we are saying, hey, I wanted to check in. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Did you have questions? Anything else I can do to help you, feel more excited and comfortable about this purchase or whatever, right? It's our chore, our duty, essentially, to go in and make sure that we're keeping the excitement alive, keeping those conversations going, because Make Wellness is at the forefront of our brains, but it is not at the forefront of everyone else's brain.
Thank God.
Not at least until we get them on the...
Thank God. Make Wellness is at the forefront of our brains, but not at the forefront of everyone else's brain. Cold tactic, information control. We love it. We don't. That's sarcasm. We live in an echo chamber. Now go pressure your outside world to join it.
Sound like you're in an echo chamber.
Can I also say, if you won't accept no, since y'all believe no just means not right now, why would you assume that people aren't ghosting you since all of your team has been taught to ignore boundaries? I'd love to know the answer for that.
Not at least until we get them on the products and they become obsessed like we are, right? So that's the fourth one, or the third one. Is follow-up. Fortune is in the follow-up. Next one is promoting. This, again, is going to be a really important part of how we're selling. I call this kind of like the hard sell. And having a balance of this and then the attraction and the soft selling, it's like chef's kiss, okay? Because here's the thing. When people come to our page, we don't want to be a walking infomercial. Like, we are not QVC, okay? And so there's a really important balance of this like hard selling. Hey, I have something for you. Here's where you can get it. Comment below. Vote on this link. That's important. But then it's also equally as important to do the attraction piece we talked about at the beginning. So with promoting, I wouldn't say, like I said, that I do this, every single day, but I try to balance it 3 times a week, maybe, where I'm actually going on my stories and I'm like doing a deep dive on products, or I'm saying, hey, I've got 3 mentorship spots available right now for anyone who's looking to launch their business, who's interested in Make Wellness with us and is ready to launch. And those are more of like a hard sell where you're giving information, you're doing a deep dive. A lot of it's probably talking to camera. Maybe you're posting some infographics with it, and then you're doing a call to action. That's the most important part of this piece, is having a call to action, whether it's a post or it's on your feed or it's a reel and it's a caption, or, you're doing it on your stories. You want to have a call to action, because when we're promoting, we are doing whatever we need to do to get somebody to move. Okay.
Oh my God.
And when I say move, it's either we are getting them, it depends on the purpose of our content that day, but we're either getting them to push follow, we're getting them to reach out and inquire, we're getting them to go and click the link to purchase, we're getting them to sign up. Whatever we're doing, we are trying to get someone to move, to do an action. And so we have to do a CTA at the end of
She said, we're trying to get someone to move, to do an action. There's a potential FTC violation risk here. In my opinion, deceptive marketing. Baylee, that's called manipulation when the action benefits you and misleads them. Can the FTC come to the front of the grocery store? Can the FTC come to the front of the grocery store? Baylee Stewart is here. Here's the FTC risk. Pushing consumers to move without giving them context or disclaimers is material deception. My soul is eye-rolling right now.
And so we have to do a CTA at the end of everything, okay? And then the last part of this is tracking and reflecting. And this is, again, a really important part. I would say all of these are really important parts. But when you're reaching out to people and you're building your business, there's a lot of moving parts, right? And so tracking and being able to really keep note of the people that you're talking to, what they're saying, what your conversations were like. It's important because then it makes your follow-up a lot easier and a lot more personable, okay? So I also want to mention that when you're having conversations with people, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have gotten this, but I will get like, hey, I can't do it right now, but wait until payday. Reach out in a couple months, reach out in a couple weeks. And there ain't no way that I am remembering to reach out to that person in 2 weeks from today unless I write it down and I make a note of it. So I use an app called Trello. It's also a website. It's an app on your phone and a website. It's so user-friendly. It's also free, but that's what I use. A lot of people use their notes section. Some people are just old school and they use pen and paper, whatever makes sense for you, but you have to make sure that you are tracking your leads, tracking your conversations, and keeping up with what people are telling you, okay? And I like to put, a section where it's like leads, people who are interested, where I'm kind of at with their conversation, whether I'm like, okay, we're nurturing the relationship, or I sent the video and now we're in limbo. I'm waiting for them to look over the information I sent so that then I can create their customer account or whatever that looks like. I like to really be diligent about keeping track of where my conversations are at with people so that I can then turn around and follow up. Especially when it comes to something like pushing for PA, we're getting closer to the end of the month. Follow-up is going to be so important, and we're going to get into in a second time blocking. But when you have a list and you're working from something and you're tracking your leads, you're tracking your conversations, it's going to make that follow-up piece and your time blocking so much more efficient because you're going to be able to sit down and know exactly who you talk to, exactly who's ready to be followed up with, exactly who you're waiting on to look at information. It's going to just keep your business so much more efficiently. It's so much more efficient, okay? And like I said, all of these things can be broken down in multiple different ways. Like I said, I'm going to get into the time blocking thing and show you guys how to organize this. But just keep in mind, these 5 things are going to be the things that move your business forward. Okay.
Are they?
There's obviously so many other tasks that we can do. But like I said, when you're looking at a DMO, especially as someone who's busy, especially as someone who has a lot of hats and focuses on a lot of different things, you want to make sure that your 2 main focuses are the things that you're the best at, high impact activities, and then the things that are going to move the needle. It's really easy to get stuck in doing some of the monotonous things that maybe aren't necessarily, they're still important, but they're not necessarily moving the needle. And that's okay. But a majority of the time should be spent on these really high impact, really good income producing activities, okay? So moving on to time blocking. I said, I have become the queen of the calendar, I swear. And if you guys need to comment below if you guys are also psychos about your calendar because people make fun of me. This is the level of psychosis that we're at with my time blocking. But when I tell you,
I think she was being hyperbolic, but okay.
That's a little hyperbolic, but yeah, no, I see where you're going. Yeah.
This is the level of psychosis that we're at with my time blocking. Who did this? When productivity hacks become, personality traits, we've entered peak calendar cosplay. You can feel confident when you tell somebody no. You can feel confident when you say, I don't have the time for this. That's a boundary. And if you say, I have told you no, I have told you I don't have time for this. If you continue to ask, here's the consequences. I'm going to remove myself from you. You will not have the ability to have access to me because you continue to cross a boundary, which that's what a boundary is. It's not controlling other people's behavior. It's telling them when they break one of your boundaries, what you're going to do. You can leave. You can cut off somebody who continues to say, oh, no doesn't mean no. It just means not right now. No, it means no. It means no. No means no.
No means no.
But when I tell you, it has increased my productivity so much. I recommend everybody become a psycho like me with your calendar because it's going to really change the game for you. So you might look at the DMO and you're like, okay, sounds great, Baylee, but I'm busy and it's never going to work for me because I just physically don't have the time. I love you, but you're wrong.
I love you, but you're wrong.
Every single person has time. I hate the saying, like, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, because respectfully, we just don't.
Okay.
I do not have the same 24 hours as a mother of 3. It's just gonna be different, and we have to work our businesses differently. But we can take the time that you do have and we can work with it. Okay, we just have to.
Can we? Go to the next scene. I've heard people in Mary Kay, people in Young Living, we've heard it on other Zoom calls, however long you've been here watching anti-MLM content, or you may still be in an MLM, part of the pitch to say, oh my God, this is going to be perfect for you. And you say, I'm really busy. And they say busy people are the best at MLMs because they know how to use their time most effectively. Sometimes that's not true. Sometimes you have put all of the things in your calendar that need to be in there or that you want in there, and you really don't have time for multi-level marketing. You don't. And the idea that we can take the time that you do have and we can work with it, Baylee, guilt tripping? Did you realize you were doing that? The no excuses hustle script strikes again. Productivity isn't the problem. It's the unpaid labor. Oh, did you forget about that? Make Wellness, Justin Prince, everybody in MLM. Sorry, I'm getting a little heated about this.
Be intentional about what we're spending our time doing. And listen, you guys, here's the thing too. When you want something bad enough, when you want to be bad enough, when you want to be and beyond bad enough, you're going to get gritty and you're going to figure it out. And sometimes that's what this calendar is for. It's for the grittiness. Like, we got to just figure out where the space is and what we can fill it with intention. Okay. So if you've never heard of the 21-day week, I highly recommend you look it up. I know that there's podcasts on it. There's a book on it. And this is where like my time blocking journey started, because it totally changed the game for me.
I hope
so the idea of the 21-day week is that you can actually fit 3 days within your 1 day. And you can categorize your 3 days very strategically. So for example, my days go from 5 to 9. That's my day 1, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. is my day 2. And then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is my day 3. Okay. And that's all on like a Monday. So it's 1 day physically in our life, but we're breaking it into 3 sections or 3 mini days within our day. And the point of this is that you can categorize it so that you're more efficient with your time. Because if you think about like end of month right now, we're doing this PA push. I want you guys to really sit back and think about what your month would look like if you spent every single day like you're going to spend this last 10 days pushing. What if you spent every single day like that, right? Same thing goes for this work week. It kind of like condenses your time so you feel a little bit more urgency because you only have this block to focus on that specific set of tasks, essentially. So my 5 to 9 in the morning, that's when I work out. That's when I spend time with God. That's when I spend time doing my personal development. I listen to podcasts. I sit in the sauna. I make a good breakfast. I get ready for my day. This is like me time. This is where I'm setting my day up so that then my day 2 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., I can focus on my business. That is my business time. And I actually have 2 sets of business times. So my 9 to 1 p.m. and my 1 to 5 p.m., they actually kind of interchange. So on one day, my middle part of my day will be focused fully on the team. That's when I schedule all of my calls, and it's fully focused on what other people need from me and how I can help them. And then the other part will be like admin, family time, and things that I need to do in my own business to move my needle forward. Things like my own recruiting, my own reach outs, my own customer acquisition, checking in with my customers, making sure they're happy. And I kind of interchange those. So my last 2 parts of my days are going to look different depending on the day. And that's the beauty of this business. But I still, every single day, break up each day into 3 parts. And it just helps so much with intentionality of our time. So...
At the beginning, when I introduce myself, you'll hear me say 2 things, that I'm autistic and I'm an MLM dropout. For me personally, I had stigma attached to both of those with how I saw it. I've only been recently diagnosed with autism within the past 2 years. If you're neurodivergent, your gas tank is using up gas faster than neurotypical people. And your gas tank may be smaller than neurotypical people in terms of your bandwidth and being able to do spoon-sucking things, bandwidth-sucking things. For example, let's say you have to go to a doctor's appointment and you have to drive 45 minutes to get there and then 45 minutes back home, and the doctor's appointment is about something maybe stressful. That is a chunk That's a chonk for me. It may be a chonk for neurotypicals too. I'm not trying to separate the two. I'm trying to say if you're neurodivergent and you're listening to this, you're going to say, oh, I can do all that. I can schedule all my time in, and you're going to burn out very quickly. Neurotypicals are going to burn out quickly too. You're potentially going to burn out much quicker than others, and then you may start feeling bad because you see Baylee or another MLM leader saying, I'm doing 21 days of work in 7 days, and here's how. And you just need to be able to fit every single thing in every single minute of the day for your mental health, for preserving and promoting your emotional well-being. Understand the total bandwidth you have to offer, the bandwidth that you give up for hard tasks, and then the bandwidth that you need to save for yourself so that you can preserve and promote your emotional well-being. Sometimes that includes not doing MLM stuff. Sometimes that's, okay, I need to be able to regulate myself. That's meaningful time that you're designating to be able to deactivate, regulate, and then do other things you need to do. Baylee's going to look at that chunk of time, that hour and a half, whatever it is, and say, oh my God, look at all this time you have. Yeah, that time is for preserving and promoting my emotional well-being, and that is more important than filling up every single minute of my calendar with multi-level marketing fluffery. I'm trying to be so good about not cussing, but I definitely cussed earlier in the video. My videos here, I try to keep cursey word absent, and on the live streams, we are cursey word friendly. So if you don't like cursing, these recorded videos will be perfect for you. And if you don't mind it, or if you're okay putting some headphones in, if you need to maybe keep some of the cursey words to yourself and not share it with whoever's running around your home, children, floofs, whatever, feel free to do that. I still find it wild that she said you can actually fit 3 days within your 1 day. I keep mulling over, maybe it's a speed bump in my mind. You can actually fit 3 days within your 1 day. Appeal to novelty, appeal to bull, SHIT, as Broken Waffle says, but oh good, we've unlocked time travel.
It's called the philosophy of time travel.
Next up, ranking up through quantum calendar hacks. She said it just helps so much with intentionality of our time. Thought-stopping techniques. Are you in the room with us? I think so. Thought-stopping language, at least. That word intentional gets tossed around a lot, but in MLMs, it often means stop questioning, start obeying your planner or your upline. You get the idea.
So when I categorize them, it's done in a form of a blitz. And again, I'm pretty 99% sure Justin Prince taught me this years and years ago. So take notes. So I categorize them, or I schedule them all in a blitz, and I put everything, you guys, in my calendar. Okay. So what is a blitz? A blitz is a 15 to 20 minute, I usually do closer to 30 even, but you can kind of pick the time, 15 to 30 minute section of time that is focused on one specific task. It's not like, okay, I'm focused on my business right now. It's like I am focused on just specifically following up with messages about the business in this time period. And you focus on that and that only. You set a timer, you don't move from your desk, you stay there, you are locked in, you're taking a focused and an energized, and you are locked in, you are there. That's all you focus on. Then you take a quick break, 10 to 15 minutes, and you do another blitz. It's ideal to do a couple back to back. That's what I do. But again, with time, make this work for you. It's a plug and play framework you guys can do based on whatever time you guys have, okay? So I schedule the blitz, I take a break, I do another, I take a break. I usually don't do more than 3 back to back. And this is gonna be really helpful because again, it kind of creates that intentionality around, our focus and our time and our work essentially. And I like to do this thing where I focus on the most income producing things first, but also the most dreaded thing first. If you can wake up and your first blitz of the day is something that you are dreading to do for that day, it makes the rest of your day feel so much easier, and it makes the rest of the blitzes feel almost like fun, okay? So go to your...
It makes them feel almost fun.
Wow, that was almost fun.
I guess I get what she's saying, but if you can wake up and your first blitz of the day is something that you are dreading, cult tactic, Grit is a virtue. Baylee, this isn't motivation, it's glamorized burnout. Your dread is not a productivity badge.
Okay, so go to your calendar, look at all the white space. I want you guys to go through and do family time first, mark it out in red. It's an absolute non-negotiable. That is not work time. And then I want you to go through and schedule like the soccer games and all the things you guys are doing. And then I want you to go and look at what white space you have left and fill those with intentional blitzes that are going to be focused on the things that we talked about at the beginning of this video in your DMO, okay? That's the way that you are going to move the needle forward. Now, 2 rules moving forward, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. 2 rules moving forward. You put every single thing in the calendar and nothing gets deleted from the calendar. This is how I've been able to really stick to it, because here's the thing. We can do all this stuff. We can put it all in our calendar and we can have the most beautiful DMO. This all is fantastic. But if we don't execute and we don't stick to it, what are we gonna do, right? So everything goes in, nothing gets deleted. It can be moved, the timeline can change, you can move some stuff around, swap it out, but nothing gets deleted, okay? Those are my 2 rules, and it's gonna help immensely, okay? And then just remember, you guys, like treating this business truly like a business is going to help your business reflect that. If we are lackadaisical about our schedule, if we're lackadaisical and moving things around and canceling stuff and not keeping the promises that we made to ourselves and not showing up when we said that we're going to, not only is our team gonna feel that, but we're gonna feel that. It's gonna put a wrench and a lack of confidence, inside of us. And then it's also gonna show up in our paychecks, okay? So I hope this helped you guys. I want to give you guys a task and a challenge for the rest of this month. Today, I want you guys to go in and schedule out blitzes for the rest of this month. Put it in there. What's going to get you to PA? What is going to be your most highest income producing activities? And put them in your calendar as blitzes. Screenshot it, put it in the comments below, and tag your team. So I hope this helped you guys, and we will talk soon. Let's all go and push and close out PA this month strong.
We did it. So here's the twist. What starts as time management quickly becomes time manipulation. Baylee's training isn't really about scheduling, it's about stretching yourself thinner to serve a system that offers pennies for your presence and calls it progress. This is what happens when MLMs package hustle culture as empowerment. They sell you structure, but what you end up managing is your own exploitation. Because when a rep needs to turn likes into leads and family dinners into sales funnels, the line between personal and professional doesn't just blur, it vanishes. I hope we all can remember that no amount of intentional blitzing can fix a business model that depends on unpaid labor and social pressure to survive. If you've ever felt like you were constantly chasing productivity just to prove your worth in one of these companies, you're not lazy, you were just stuck in a system that benefits when you burn out.
If you don't figure out how to balance things, you're gonna burn out or get hurt.
What's the most ridiculous productivity hack you've ever been told in an MLM or hustle space? I'll go first. Say no now so you can say yes later. And in the context of a business model where 99% of people lose money, don't make any money, or go into debt in multi-level marketing, you don't necessarily know what yes later actually means. And it could mean you're saying no right now and then you're saying yes to devastation.
Prepare for total devastation.
I'd love to hear the most ridiculous productivity hacks that you've been told. Drop it in the comments and let's laugh and unpack together. Remember, we don't drink the Kool-Aid here, we analyze the ingredients. I'll see you next time. Deuces, Huns.
You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to.